I have the honor now of giving the floor to His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, President of the Republic of Ghana. The President is accompanied by Ms. Jere F.O. Hackman, Child Delegate from Ghana. Excellency, you have the floor.
Mr. President, Executive Director of UNICEF, ladies and gentlemen, as President of the country which is the first to ratify the Convention on the Rights of the Child, we have never been in any doubt about the heavy responsibility that goes with Ghana's position as a trailblazer of the Convention, and have since its ratification enacted national legislation and instituted reforms in education, healthcare, and social protection systems, all aimed at translating the relevant provisions of the Convention into policy and action. Our children are not only our future, but also our greatest treasure today. Beyond their protection, we must invest in their development. When I stand before the children of Ghana and look into the eyes of Ghana's future, of Ghana's tomorrow, I'm reminded that I must work harder to guarantee that knowledge and well-being become the backbone of the modern, prosperous economy we're trying to construct. Knowledge, and more knowledge is the only way by which we can rid our society of ignorance, poverty, and disease, and thereby accelerate progress towards a better future for our children. We have ensured in Ghana that poverty is no longer a stumbling block to the access of education by our children by a policy of free senior high school. I'm glad that we're now able to say that education in the public sector is free from kindergarten to senior high school, which we have redefined as basic education. This initiative has resulted in a significant increase in pupil enrollment, with 1.2 million children currently in senior high school, the highest in our nation's history. We've also made considerable progress in reducing childhood mortality and morbidity through effective national immunization campaigns and universal coverage of primary health care for all Ghanaians, particularly children. We are committed to ending child marriage and eradicating all forms of child labor, trafficking, and slave-like practices in line with SDG 8. Quote, Operation Get Off the Street Now for a Better Life, unquote, has been initiated, and the Ghana Child Labor Monitoring Information System has been reactivated. As we commemorate the 30th anniversary of the adoption of this convention, we remember the words of the late Secretary General of the United Nations, our illustrious compatriot, Kofi Annan, who, at the special session of the UN for Children in New York in May 2002, said, and I quote, "History will judge us by the difference we make in the everyday lives of children," unquote. I thank you for your attention and invite a 10-year-old Ghanaian, Jire Hackman, to complete Ghana's statement. The floor is yours.
Excellencies, distinguished delegates, I am excited to be given this opportunity to address the United Nations General Assembly on the occasion of the 30th anniversary of the adoption of the Convention on the Rights of the Child. Today, I represent the voices of Ghanaian children, and indeed, all children of Africa. We thank the United Nations and world leaders for the progress made so far in advancing the rights and needs of children everywhere. Yes, we have made some progress, but much more needs to be done for children living in poverty and neglect, children living in war and conflict situations, and children living in refugee and migrant communities. On the daily news, I see scary and troubling images and hear terrible stories of the condition that these children, through no fault of theirs, are made to endure. I see the effects of famine on children, and I also see those children whose future is jeopardized due to negative cultural practices such as child marriage and female genital mutilation. As the great African icon President Nelson Mandela once stated, there can be no keener revelation of a society's soul than the way it treats its children. As we commemorate 30 years of the CRC, we call on the world to recommit to the convention and to take necessary steps to protect and safeguard the future of every child. This should be a turning moment for all to commit to accelerated action to address climate change and to implement the Sustainable Development Goals. Thank you, and may God bless children everywhere.